What are we seeing in this next image here?
So these are different screenshots that were located on the iPhone 8 Plus. As you can see over here on the left, the account creation, the account name was Karina Cooper with the value is actually the password of Hair Lady 1977. It shows that it was created on November 7th of 2020, and it shows last visited on the regular browser in December 17th of 2020. So these two pictures are very similar. As you can tell, they're not exactly the same. They're screenshots taken at different dates and times. The image on the left is November 8th, 2020. And if you look at the top, you can see that it does not say private next to it. And the image on the right is from November 19th, 2020. That does say private. So that's actually from the private browser.
Okay. A few different things I want to ask you about there. So the first thing, this information was located on the phone belonging to Karina Cooper.
Yes.
And under account creation, what's your understanding of what that information means?
So that's when you would set up that account.
And the account was through who or what website?
Yeah, huntered.com.
And the information you were able to determine was the account holder was the name Karina Cooper?
Yes.
And you said the value is?
That's the password.
So that password, as far as you understand, was required to access this information?
Yes.
Where on the phone did you locate these two Hunter Ed images? I'll start with the first one you said that was not marked private.
Yeah, so both of these were actually screenshots located in the database. So it was in the photo data database. They're actually both thumbnails of the original image.
And can you explain then what is the difference between the image that's not marked private and the one that's marked private? You made a distinction between a private browser and, I guess, a non-private browser.
Yeah, so in a private browser, it's meant to be, as it states, private. What you search in that does not keep web history, so once you close it out, that web history is gone.
And as an investigator, what did you find to be of import with regard to these images?
Yeah, it talks about, as you can see here, common types of handgun bullets, and it talks about each bullet and what it is good for.
What do you mean, what it's good for?
How it's used, so as it says with the first one there, it has a good penetration, little expansion, so each bullet serves a different purpose.
Did you find well, the other thing I guess I wanted to ask you is you said these were screenshots and you're distinguishing that from what?
What would be called a web cache. That web cache is, how it does is when you're on a website and you're scrolling, it kind of takes its own images of that to kind of help the browser load faster. Those are different. That's not user interaction. That is what the phone is doing behind the scenes. This, a user would have had to take that screenshot.
Okay, so if I understand correctly, then the user would have had to manually capture these images and save them?
Yes.
Did you find any other similar images from this Hunter Ed website?
I did.
What are we seeing here?
Yeah, so there was a total of 89 that I located, and it was between the dates of November 8th, 2020 and November 19th, 2020. Here on the left, you can see that there's 23 screenshots that were taken on or before November 11th, 2020 in the regular browser. And then starting on November 18th, 2020, there was 66 screenshots taken, and those were all in the private browser. What I have here underneath shows the timestamp of when that was taken, that was located on the photo, and that also matches what the report said the screenshot was taken.
And did you review the majority, if not all, of these types of images from the Hunter Ed website?
I did.
And what generally was the nature of the information contained in those screenshots that were saved on Karina Cooper's phone?
It was all about guns, whether it be rifle, handgun, how to use them, how to keep them clean, also protection, and then the bullets.
when you say the bullets, I think you already referenced which bullets could be used for different things, including which ones had penetration. Did that include the basic parts of bullets, shell casings, that type of thing?
It did.
And this information here on the screenshot on the left, what is that imparting there below the image?
Yeah, this is talking about the maximum projectile and saying that it could cause injury or damage to persons, animals, or objects. And so knowing your firearm's maximum projectile range is critical, being safe and responsible hunter.
Does it also say it helps you determine whether or not you can make a clean kill?
Yes, it does.
So beyond, as we all know, the data, using your phone to search the internet, et cetera, of course, you can also make calls and send text messages, correct?
Yes.
All right. Were you able to determine by looking at the phones, the phone numbers associated with Karina Cooper and Huston Danker's phones?
I was.
All right. What are we seeing here?
So the gray is going to be what is coming from Karina Cooper's phone, and so that is her phone number, and then the blue will be Huston Danker, and that is his phone number. And this actually comes from his iPhone 7.
And you said you have them gray and blue. That's just for your demonstrative, correct?
Correct.
To distinguish between the two. Were you able to find text messages or communications between these two parties?
I was.
And so what is that icon or image that we're seeing in the top right?
Yeah, so that is just what the image looks like on your phone as the application.
And that application is?
The iMessage.
Okay, so this is just standard Apple iMessage.
Yes.
Okay. So generally, what is the nature of this conversation based on your review of it?
That there is a sexual relationship between the two of them.
Okay. And this conversation that we're about to look at, what were they discussing, if you recall?
I don't recall exactly what this conversation's about without reading it.
Okay. So this is blue. Is that indicating that this was a communication that was from Huston Danker?
Yes.
Okay. What was this communication?
Do you want me to read it?
Yes, please.
Okay. Shit happens every day. Phones are replaceable. Hope the kids are enjoying the flying and the racing around of airports. I love you, baby. Have another safe flight. Have been waiting to hear from you.
And were you able to determine when this was sent?
Yes, I was.
When was that?
It was February 13th, 2021. So this is, yeah, okay. So this is from Karina's cell phone. It says, fucking hate him.
And that's approximately 4 minutes later?
Yes. And then, yeah, this is from Huston Danker's phone. Day one, identification, truly starting, and 2 kids have already been treated like trash and cried. It makes my blood boil. Shit happens every day, no reason to make somebody cry over it or yell about it.
Did this appear to be a conversation then between the two parties based on the timestamps you located?
Yes.
This was approximately 2 minutes later?
Yes.
And this would be a communication that was sent from Karina Cooper in response?
Yes.
All right, and what's that communication?
I just keep imagining us traveling together and how much different and fun it would be. And this is from Huston Danker's phone. We'd be having a blast with every single situation, whether Cade lost his phone, Keeble forgot his tablet, whatever the situation may be, still would be having a blast. I mean, come on, it's vacation. Lighten the fuck up, shit can be handled when you get back home, but that's just me. This is again him. Cade could have just had my phone the whole time. He didn't have one. And her response was, yep. Again, this goes back to Huston. Wouldn't have fazed me a bit. Here you go, wild man. Not like I have anybody to talk to, you. Your mom's here with me.
And there's some emojis there as well, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, and what emojis are those?
There was a broken heart earlier. This one is a heart.
Is this part of the information that you used, in determining the nature of the relationship between the parties?
Yes. So this is again from Huston Danker's phone. Can't wait to travel with you and just laugh and smile and have a complete blast with whatever we are doing or whatever we are going, with another heart. This
And
is
then
back-
this was sent by Karina Cooper, is that correct?
Yes.
All right, and what's that message?
Listen to the background of the video I'm about to send. Shows you the difference between people like us and people like him.
Okay. Were you able to locate then additional communications on an application called Snapchat?
I was.
Can you explain what Snapchat is and how it works?
Yeah, so I think the next slide actually says too. It's more of a discrete text messaging application, so you can use it to talk to somebody. It's a mobile app used for instant communication on your phone. So when you take a photo or a video, or you can send and receive just regular text messages through it. Also, it is user controlled, so it can be set to delete right after the message is sent. It can be set for 24 hours, and you can also even save the message within the chat.
Is that essentially one of the primary features of Snapchat, is that essentially I see the icon as a ghost, that the information can be instantly deleted, or people believe that it can be deleted and removed from the phone?
Yes.
You located Snapchat communications. Where did you locate those communications?
So these are actually in what's called it's carved from Axiom. So what it does is it can parse or carve information. And so the carving of that is typically a deleted data that's no longer there. This was still stored as in the non-active part of the database that Snapchat would be in.
Okay, so when you say it's in a non-active part, the communications that you located of relevance were essentially in a deleted folder?
In a way, yes.
Okay. All right, you had indicated before that you had separated these out by date and time. That first date is March 8th, 2021?
Yes.
All right, and this just shows us a little bit of the format that you've used here. What are these red X's that we're seeing on the left of the screen?
It shows they're deleted.
Okay. And there's some brackets on the right side that are linking these bubbles that show times as well. What are those?
That is the time between the different chats.
Okay. And you've indicated that Huston Danker's communications are red and Karina's are blue. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So what is this first message that you located?
Yeah, so it reads, I just read this 10 times with a heart emoji, I swear, heart emoji, and just felt even harder for you, which I don't think I could have been any more crazy over you than I already was. That book is everything I've ever wanted to hear. You can do anything you want with those boys. You're their daddy. Don't need mom's permission. Cable wants to get back to wrestling. He loves it. He just got his ass kicked at a tournament and is scared to compete now. Just wants to go to practice. Doesn't want to lose. And you know what the sperm donor said to him after he got his ass handed to him? Not a fucking word other than, it happens. Nah, let's go home and I'll show you how to get out of this move. Just, it happens. They need you so badly. Cade is your football and baseball kid. Kid can throw a damn ball. Heart emoji.
And who is this communication to?
It was to Huston Danker.
From Karina Cooper?
Yes.
And what date and time?
Yeah, so it's on March 8th, 2021 at 7:03 in the morning.
And I'll ask you to try to slow down just a little bit if you could.
Okay.
So there's an additional message at 34 seconds later.
Yes.
What was that?
Good morning, baby. You would have woke up to your horny wife's hand wrapped around your dick this morning, just so you know.
And 39 seconds later, what was that message?
Here's hoping for a rogue semi today. Big accident, no survivors.
And again, that message was from Karina Cooper to Huston Danker.
Yes.
So Karina's the one that sent that message?
Yes.
All right. Now this is a message from Huston, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And this is on that same date, March 8th?
Yes.
What was that message?
And you aren't a fucking loser. Look at all the fucking work you been putting into us. My God. Plus, with the me working out thing, the boys need a father that's in shape to lift with them, run with them, be able to push them. So Cable doesn't have to worry about losing another match. Cade can be a complete fucking animal on the football field. Both just strong little men that nobody will fuck with. And nobody will ever fuck with their little sisters after they see them studs roaming around. Really don't want Cable to ever have that feeling again, ever, in his life of defeat. Have thought about that ever since you told me that. Can't let our kids ever feel like that. Can never make them feel like they lost. Even if they did, pick them up. Show them the positives of the situation and work on shit for next time. Everything in life is a learning curve, not defeat. Them kids will understand that as their dad's on their ass for getting down on themselves ever.
And then this is an additional message about an hour later from Karina, correct?
Yes.
And what was that message?
Breeze blowing the curtains, listening to thunder. Ugh, I don't want to wait another summer.
And we've heard testimony previously that Ryan was killed in June of 2021. These messages are again approximately 3 months prior to that. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. You located some additional messages on March 12th. This first message is from Karina Cooper. What is that message?
I read somewhere that even if the surgery doesn't work, you can still do IVF.
And an additional message 23 seconds later.
Might be pregnant this time next year.
And Huston Danker's response.
IVF, question mark. Would love for you to be pregnant this time next year. I would love babies in my slow season so I can be around to help and spend time with you and the baby as much as possible.
And Karina's response.
In vitro fertilization, they implant your sperm and my egg, not the old-fashioned way, but our baby. Option if the surgery doesn't work.
All right, moving on to June 13th, so this is approximately 5 days before Ryan Cooper was killed, correct?
Yes.
All right, what's the first message?
Every time he's around.
And Houston's response?
Just explain that to me, please.
And then what's this message?
Nothing has happened since Florida, and if you think I forgot about you in the moment, like there was some big romantic moment then, well, fuck you, because you have turned me into giving him a fucking peck to get him out of the door instead of resisting and raising a fit and probably taking much more. You've taken that and made it into this huge deception and betrayal that you have continuously brought up and beaten me over several times. So let me ask you also, since we're being honest, why, if you love me so much and promise to spoil me rotten and put me above everything in your life, why is it so easy for you to belittle me? Turn your anger towards me. Pick fights with me over the same thing over and over again. And hurt me by making me feel like a piece of trash cheater. I mean, just curious. Find a fucking mirror, Huston, and take a good long look.
And what was the next message from Karina?
I'm fucking done with this conversation.
What was your understanding of this conversation?
It was a little confusing. At first, it really seemed like she was...
Objection, Your Honor, to any sort of interpretation and narration.
Sustained.
Moving on to the next series of messages. This is June 17th, correct?
Yes.
Again, the murder occurred on June 18th. First message from Huston.
Yep. Night, get tired of me working.
That was at 9:52 a.m., correct?
Yes. Then looks great. In case you haven't noticed, I like to stay busy too. You'll have slower times. Winter will be really slow. Just be prepared for your wife to constantly be tearing something apart and redoing it.
Okay, again, so we're 1 day before the murder, and Karina is sending that message to Huston, referring to herself as his wife.
Yes.
Okay, what's the next message?
Not worried about that one bit. You got to see me in my underwear this morning, and I haven't gotten to see you.
And what's Karina's response?
Train wreck.
And Huston sent a message then at 10:54, again, the day before the murder. What was that message?
Going to sleep with my hand on your pussy very soon.
What was Karina's response?
Soaked just thinking of you. Will be downright embarrassing when I actually have you in person.
And Huston responded to that about 34 seconds later, correct?
Yes.
What was that response?
Why? I love how wet you get for me.
So moving on to June 18th, did you find additional Snapchat communications then between Huston Danker and Karina Cooper?
Yes.
All right. We've heard some testimony in this case already regarding what occurred on the morning of June 18th, and that Aaron Cooper was contacted at 4:30 a.m. by Karina Cooper. She stated that someone was in the house. What time is this first message that you found on June 18th?
At 3:31 in the morning.
And what was that message?
A heart emoji.
It says here he responded approximately 2 seconds later. What was that response?
Seriously, more than fucking life.
And Karina's response 8 seconds later.
Forever.
All right. And then Huston Danker's next message to Karina Cooper.
More than anything, okay, babe, phone's going down. Send me something after I leave your house to then wait for me to open it. Deal?
Again, this is at 3:31, so this is approximately 1 hour before that call to Aaron Cooper. Did she respond to that message then 8 seconds later?
Yes.
What was that response?
Deal.
Okay, so she said deal at 3:37 a.m. on June 18th.
Yes.
Karina's next message, what was that?
A kissy emoji.
That was 3 seconds later,
Yes.
right after she said deal.
Yes.
15 seconds later, Huston Danker sent an additional message. What was the time of that message?
At 3:31:55 in the morning.
What message did he send to Karina Cooper?
Remember those casings. Fucking remember those. No ifs and or buts.
No ifs, ands, or buts?
Yes.
She responded 14 seconds later. What did she say?
Absolutely, 100%.
What was the date and time of that message?
Yeah, it was at June 18th, 2021 at 3:32 in the morning.
He responded 10 seconds later.
Yes.
What was that response?
Okay, phone's going down. I love you.
11 seconds later from Karina Cooper.
I love you too.
Huston's response 7 seconds later.
So much.
9 seconds later, Karina Cooper.
Forever.
And he responded 8 seconds later, correct?
Yes.
What did he say?
Okay, babe. Seriously, putting the phone down. Have to get this shit done. I love you.
And what was the date and time of that message?
June 18th, 2021 at 3:32:54 in the morning.
And Karina's response?
Go.
4 seconds later, she said, go.
Yes.
What was the time of that communication?
Yeah, it was June 18th, 2021 at 3:32:58 in the morning.
His response when she said, go.
It was an hour and 9 minutes, 4 seconds later. It says, yep, just woke up.
Okay. Were you able to find additional Snapchat messages belonging to Karina Cooper, not necessarily with Huston Danker, on her cellular device?
Yes.
Were all of those found in the deleted folder?
No.
What are we seeing here on this image?
There's approximately 2,400 snap messages on that phone, and only 61 of them were deleted, which includes the messages to and from Houston up into the night of the shooting.
All right, so of the 2,400 Snapchat messages, 61 total were in that deleted folder, and that includes the messages that we just saw?
Yes.
Were you able to find additional information relevant to your investigation from the phone associated with the night of the murder, which was June 18th, 2021?
Yes.
What are we seeing here in this image?
Yeah, on June 18th, 2021, at 4:13 in the morning, it showed there is a live photo that was watched. And then also that same morning at 4:18:22, it shows that there was 2 photos deleted.